Okay, good morning, everyone. Just waiting for folks to filter in. Hope everyone's having a good morning so far. I know it's a little early on the West Coast for a Monday morning. Appreciate you all being here. Up to 200 participants. Give it another minute or so. Hey, Michael, thanks for the shout out. Appreciate it. Glad you're here as well. Morning, Amanda. Hi, Renee. How are you? Justin, hope you're feeling better. Okay, and Bobby, Yonkers. All right, Betsy. Okay, give it another minute. We're almost up to 300. Someone was asking about Tupac. Tupac's sleeping in the other room. I will say my 14-year-old bought him a Christmas sweater and put it on him yesterday, and he didn't hate it. You know, usually my pets are not big fans of the Christmas attire, but Tupac actually was sort of enjoying the Christmas sweater. So it was quite a sight. Okay, all right, 10:02 Central Time. We're at 327 people and counting, so slowing down. So we'll get started here. Good morning. Welcome to our final town hall of the year. Hope everyone is having a nice holiday season. I feel like this time of year, between Thanksgiving and Christmas, holiday just goes faster and faster each year. I don't know about you guys, but it's like a blink of an eye, and all of a sudden it's we're looking at the new year. But hopefully everyone's able to plan for some time off with your friends and family, reflect on what I think is a pretty remarkable year, really for all of us. And so we'll go to the next slide. So we have a really exciting town hall today, tons to cover, lots of topics. We're going to be introducing new hospitals, some new team members, excited to have part 2 of our strategic plan, and then we'll have an update on Ceridian rollout and several other things. But without further ado, I'm going to move on to an Enriching Lives video about how our IndyVet team helped a canine officer named Ringo. And then we'll transition right after that into our business update with Donna. So Christy or Dana, if you can roll that video, that would be great.
So today we got to come back to IndyVet with Canine Ringo and the canine unit, and we were able to just try to express our thanks for them and everything that they did for Ringo. I think it was important for us to come back, not only for the canine unit to express their gratitude, but also for the staff at IndyVet to see how far Canine Ringo has come, and to give them a glimpse and a picture of what they did for us. On behalf of the unit, we want to thank you for the outstanding medical care that you provided for Ringo. Ringo is not just a dog. He's our partner and he's our hero. Because of you, he has an opportunity to recover and potentially return back to duty. Each one of you has made a lasting impact on our life, and for that we are eternally grateful.
So one of my front desk girls gave us a call back, let us know that we had a canine police officer coming and that he had been stabbed. And so once he got here, we kind of all knew as a team that this was going to be a team effort and we had to be ready for him. Going going into a room with 10 to 20 officers and explaining to them that we're doing the best we can for their canine is scary, you know, and wanting to be able to provide the best care we can for Ringo.
Thankfully, you guys were able, your skills and practice and training paid off and, saved his life. So when I left him on that table back there, I thought pretty much that was it. And it's been a roller coaster of emotions since then. But I just, thank you. That's all I can say, right? So.
Being able to be a part, just a small part of the team that we had to help Ringo, we got to be a hero to a hero, which is very cool. And not many veterinarians get that chance. And to have a positive outcome and get to see the impact of all his handlers and the whole canine unit and the Indy Police Force is really great, and honestly us, so very, very exciting. I can't even explain the emotion.
I think it's like bringing everything full circle. A lot of times I think we forget to tell people how much we appreciate them and what they've done for us and how much it means, and this was just a really good opportunity for us to see them, for them to see Ringo, and to just try to say thank you as best as we could.
Wow, what a way to start today's town hall. Thank you, Indy Vet. That was amazing. Just an amazing story. Good morning, everyone. Now we're going to move on to our business updates. I get to start us off today. I want to take a moment to recognize the team at AESH of Grand Rapids. They've just relocated to a brand new hospital next door to their previous site and began operations in mid-October. After a brief amount of time closed to make the move, they've reopened to their prior level of volume and have made a very successful transition into their new hospital. I just want to congratulate the leaders of the hospital, Amanda Plumbos and Dr. Marilyn Brink, and the entire team on this really great effort. And I want to give a shout out to AESH and Byron for your support of this hospital during their closure and their move. Congratulations to all of you. Really amazing. You're going to do great things for your community. Now I'll hand it over to Tyler Narveson.
Hi, good morning. I have a amazing announcement to share as well. Welcome to AVEC Buckeye, our fourth AVEC affiliated location in Greater Phoenix. This is located in the Litchfield Park, Buckeye area. This almost 8,000 square foot facility offers urgent medical and surgical care, as well as full service lab testing, radiology, advanced imaging, ultrasound services, and is connected to our system, which includes a multi-specialty hospital and Phoenix's best emergency and critical care team. It's a great achievement for the team, Cassie Pochabar, Tanya Flifley, Dr. Caldwell, and Dr. Madison, and is the kind of last one in a 3-series de novo strategy that we've done here to bring them from 1 location to 4. And now I also have the pleasure of announcing 2 new folks to the West team. So first, really excited to welcome Erica Dockman as the Operations Support Manager for Group 12. Erica joined the hospital team at Sage Redwood City in 2021 and has continued to lead and do well and really kind of help set the bar for both care and growth. Redwood City now is a $47 million location with 26% EBITDA. She's an RVT by background and has spent 2 decades immersed in practice. She does live outside San Francisco, but I have to note she is a Minnesota native, so very happy about that as well. So she's going to be supporting our Group 12 hospitals, which you can see below. And next, we have another exciting announcement for the West team. Congratulations to Alana Dea. She was selected for the Operations Support Manager for Group 9, which is the Pacific Northwest with Jeremy Renshaw. She joined the SAGE team in 2017 as a Client Service Coordinator and has worked through several different roles, including procurement, project management, facilities. She was the AHM at Redwood City when we opened it, and then did a dual role with Vet Vision as well. So she was promoted to Hospital Director of SAGE Concord, transitioned it into our new state-of-the-art location, and is excited to then take her learnings and experience up to the Pacific Northwest. She lives outside San Francisco with her husband, Stephen, and lab Jamie. And so you can see her hospital portfolio there as well. All right. Now I'll pass it on to speak to our recruiting updates.
Okay, one last introduction here. I'd like to introduce Shannon Gibbons, our new head of HR, started 5 weeks ago. She lives in Denver, currently on an extended stay in Michigan, and brings just a ton of relevant experience from DaVita, Eating Recovery Centers, and Republic. And so Shannon's going to have the HR business partners, the community team, and learning and development functions reporting to her, and we'll also be working closely with our total rewards team and our HR operations team that are serving both the Ethos and the NBA businesses. And so please join me in welcoming Shannon to the team. And with that, I'll turn it over to our head of DVM recruiting, Chris Wilkins.
Hi, everybody. Thank you, Ryan. So I'm here to quickly talk about year-to-date hiring. We had a super strong November, 24 full-time doctor hires across the network. This takes us to 361 full-time hires year-to-date. So special thanks to Betsy, Kristen, their hardworking recruiters, as well as our amazing house officer team. Couldn't have got to where we are without everyone's contributions. In addition to that, I also wanted to shout out to Michelle Samar and the hospital leadership recruiting team. They filled 62 positions year to date, which also includes 21 hospital directors and 6 OSMs. So a lot of activity, on that side as well. And as the slide shows, we still have opportunity here. So, one of the things that we continue to focus really heavily on is our conversion rate, our acceptance rate. Just bringing that up a few percentage points would obviously make, a massive difference, in our overall hiring numbers. So my team and I, what we plan on doing is reaching out to, a lot of you individually to talk through strategies over the next sort of month or so. So that's that for this slide. The other thing that we also wanted to sort of plug was our candidate experience survey. I know everybody's incredibly busy, and you certainly have your fair share of surveys to complete, to say the least, but we would truly appreciate as much feedback as possible. Helps us learn a lot about, our candidates, our hospitals, and also just provide, super valuable coaching opportunities for all of our recruiters. So that's it from me. I will pass you over to Trey. Thank you, everyone.
Thanks, Chris. So just wanted to be able to hit briefly on our current revenue performance. Looking for year-to-date up to October, we understand that it is December right now, so we don't quite have our November results yet. So we did want to at least be able to talk through the end of October through here. So as you can see here on the chart, as we look at our growth for year-to-date overall, we are slightly below budget at 2%, driven primarily by being below budget with regards to the visit growth. For the year-to-date, for actual just year-over-year growth, we're currently sitting at 8.6%. So pretty decent growth with a slight visit growth of 0.9%. Specifically for the month of October, we did see a bit of a decline in the month of October, with our year-over-year growth being 7.7% and a decline of a little less than 1% in actual visits, really kind of showing that we're being able to see most of our growth right now from a revenue perspective, and just how we're driving price changes in year over year. And then as we look at versus budget, we're a significant amount off for the month of October, being down 4.6% to visits, at 6.3% to budget. So somewhat of a rougher month in the month of October. And as we look into the next few days, we should see those November financials drop. But you know, it is good to be able to see that our revenue continues to grow and climb from a overall perspective of static dollars. But just, you know, as we look into the rest of the year and going into the next year, what we can do to be able to grow our overall visits. And then with that, I will kick it over to Lisa Ottamanelli and Tyler Narveson for Partner of Choice.
Hi, everybody. At our last town hall, we shared 2 of our strategic objectives with you: attract and retain veterinary healthcare teams and advancing medicine. And today we're going to dive into the remaining 3. So up first, Tyler Narveson and I will speak to the 3rd strategic objective, which is being the partner of choice. We can go to the next slide. So, you know, we want Ethos to lead the industry as a premium provider and employer. And part of that is improving clinical outcomes through the premiumization of medicine, while focusing on the experience of our clients and patients. Critical to this, of course, is going to be making sure that we are the employer of choice, and recognizing that we're not there yet. We want to where we want to be on total compensation. We want to build towards, you know, really desirable compensation and benefits plans on our roadmap. We also continue to invest in capital projects to further our reach and scope of medicine. Many of you are actively engaged in some of these projects, including de novos, renovations, expansions, relocations, and expanded service offerings. We hope to invest in many more exciting projects in 2024 and the years to come. And now I'll turn it over to Tyler, who will talk to you about growing our referral network.
Thanks, Lisa. So just as important, you know, for providing cutting edge, leading industry care, and really, you know, showing that we are the best option in the markets we serve, we want to make sure that our referring DVMs feel the same way. And I know they already, you know, we do a wonderful job there, and kudos to all of you that continue to provide great care for our DVM community. As part of this, we'll continue to grow and enhance our capabilities to make sure that we're doing all we can to grow and strengthen those relationships. You know, here's one example, which is the referral opportunity report. So it allows us, you know, to have a dashboard to track opportunity for growth within our referral community. So the goal, you know, again, hitting on what Lisa hit on, you know, is to be the provider and partner of choice for our clients, patients, and referring community. You know, next slide, please. And, you know, looking at where we want to be today, or, you know, where we are today and where we want to be, you know, the leading support option for you all, the hospital teams. And so we're going to continue to accelerate and enhance our service offerings. You know, many of these already look familiar to you all, but it's where we're really focused on ensuring that we are providing the best back office services and value-add services for you all, so that we can provide the best care. The support center teams are extremely excited and committed to our vision forward, and ensuring that we continue to enhance all the capabilities we drive. So you can see finance and legal, you know, ensuring we have the best reporting, budgeting, and planning options for you. Technology, which we have a lot of initiatives working towards. Human resources, you know, which includes our benefits offering, all of our back-end support, such as leave management, workers' compensation, and then, you know, holistic benefits, such as the community team. Operations, you know, ongoing design, development of facilities, hospital management, referring relationships, and growing our business. And then lastly, enhancing our education and training capabilities. We know that's more important than ever, and we're excited to continue to work on that. So now I'll pass it to Donna and Tyler to talk about our next strategic objective, which is leveraging scale.
Great, thank you. So yes, our next initiative is to leverage scale and harness the power of our network to improve efficiency and reduce cost. I'm going to talk about two strategies. The first is clinical team and staff utilization and optimization. We'll work hard to standardize expectations, skill development, and training in order to optimize care team utilization. But when we talk about standardization, this does not mean that all hospitals would be asked to be exactly the same or have the same staffing models or ratios. It means that we would utilize the strength of the organization to provide standard tools, resources, and education to enable all of you to excel. Because of our size and diversity, we have an amazing opportunity to learn from each other, identify best practices, share experiences that will make us stronger and better at what we do. Defining roles will enable better patient care and provide a clear career path for our team members. Skill development and training will enable our teams to work at the top of their licensure as they apply what they've learned and continue to learn and grow in their profession. The second strategy is deployment of the Ceridian Dayforce HRIS system. We've extended the time for implementation to ensure a smooth launch, but once implemented, all of our hospitals will be on the same system. We'll have consistent labor reporting data, which will help us identify labor management opportunities, as well as scheduling systems that will allow hospitals to schedule both DVM and lay staff labor hours to meet the needs of their hospital and projected revenue needs. Tyler?
Thank you, Donna. Good morning, all. Great to see you. So as I shared back in our September town hall, one of the areas where we believe we have tremendous opportunity is to leverage the scale and power of our 150 plus hospital network in the area of sourcing and supply chain operations for both direct and indirect goods and services. Direct is the products that you sell to your clients or offer to your clients in hospital, and indirect are the things that you use in your hospital, such as medical equipment, office supplies, and so forth. And while we already have favorable agreements and relationships with many key suppliers and vendors, the establishment of an Ethos dedicated procurement function with a strategy and team solely focused on the needs of specialty and emergency medicine will really further our ability to ensure our hospitals have access to the highest quality service and products at the best prices and terms. And as our current and prospective vendors learn more about the new Ethos vision to revolutionize veterinary medicine, they are increasingly excited to partner with us. You are exceptional hospitals, clinical teams, and medical leaders, and not only to provide us with great products and pricing, but also to help shape the future of specialty and emergency veterinary medicine alongside us through collaboration on new products, studies, therapies, et cetera. And just as important as what we're able to achieve in this area is how we do it. And we recognize that a high degree of partnership with our hospital teams is critical to optimizing our impact here. We want to take a much more active role in being a true partner to each of our hospitals. The work doesn't start and stop with the negotiation of the contract. We want to ensure that our sourcing strategy is driven by the voice of the hospital. And then once we have those preferred savings and terms agreed upon, we need to ensure that you are all aware of the opportunities that exist for you to reduce costs and unlock more value through your purchasing decisions in hospital. So while we want to provide you with choice when it comes to the products and services you use, we also know there's an opportunity through our scale to drive even more value through working with you to thoughtfully determine where do we have the ability to consolidate vendors and the products that we use to achieve even greater pricing and terms. In terms of some next steps here, we welcomed the new leader of the Ethos procurement team less than a month ago. Her name is Shruti Paris, and she's quickly diving in to identify the opportunities and needs of Ethos. And so we look forward to sharing more of how we can support this strategic objective alongside all of you in the new year. So with that, I will now hand it over to Trey Neal and Brandon Linton to speak to our last strategic objective, which is expanding Ethos's reach of patient care.
Thanks so much, Tyler. So as we think about being able to expand our reach within our communities, really it's how we are going to reimagine and continue to grow the entire network. So as we look in here, there's three kind of strategic growth priorities that we have in front of us, one being through capital projects, one being through de novos, and one being through mergers and acquisitions. So with that, this is something that we have recognized, many of our current hospitals definitely have needs to be able to either grow or reimagine the space they're already in, or be able to take on opportunities as they look into the future of being able to potentially open more sites. So, just as an example, what Tyler Narveson hit on earlier, within the Phoenix area. We've seen just great opportunities to be able to really kind of be able to offer the highest quality of medicine, and then also just be the largest player within a market to make sure that the Ethos name is, first and foremost of the entire population within that area. So as we look into our capital projects, we have very, very many going on right now, and we're going to continue to invest in money here. So, as you see it on the screen right here, kind of coming up with the cadence of what sounds right and what looks right for our hospitals. So as you can see, a couple of numbers listed here, about approximately every 7 years, a major renovation happening with the hospital as we look forward, and approximately every 10 years for a relocation or expansion happening at our hospitals. Now, we understand this isn't across the board. This isn't every single hospital within the network, but we do feel like that this is the vast majority of them. And as we're able to just do more and more here, we think that this will help just kind of drive the ability to offer top-notch medicine and partner these capital projects with better equipment and just higher quality within each of our locations. The next kind of pillar here is going to be our de novo activity. So quite a few de novos that are going on in the coming years. And just even as you look in this year and next year, we have 5 new locations that are going to be opening or have opened, including a couple of greenfield locations, being a market that's going to be brand new to us, such as what we saw in Alpharetta, Georgia, which is a suburb of Atlanta, and then Maritime, that's going to be in Halifax, Nova Scotia. So just lots of good and exciting opportunities there. And as we've seen over the past many years, de novos are just a great way for us to be able to continue to offer more to the community at large. And then kind of the final pillar here being acquisitions. As I'm sure most everybody on this call is aware, this is something that we definitely cooled down on over this past year, just due to massive amounts of growth that we've seen over the last many years, getting up to this point in time. So we are looking in the future, 2025 and on, and acquiring 1 to 2 additional hospital locations within our overall EVH community to be able to drive here. And really, these are going to be opportunistic for us, and just great hospitals that we really want to be able to join versus trying to just move as quickly to be able to build. Next slide, please. So in kind of thinking about like what this actually means from a harder financial perspective, we wanted to be able to share some projections with you all, just kind of showing the actual like number of projects and cash out the door that we're going to be looking at. So as you can see, in the years to come, we're going to be investing a considerable amount of cash to be able to do all these things spoken about on the previous slide, and a very, very significant part of the actual EBITDA dollars that we're bringing in. So, as we talk about, looking forward, and we continue to try to figure out ways that we can help the community at large and grow what our footprint is, a lot of it is really going to be predicated on our ability to be able to just drive the EBITDA dollars to be able to pay for projects. So as you can see, very quickly getting over $200,000 a year being invested within the 3 kind of strategic pillars with growth, and then how it breaks down into the percentage of revenue, and then the percentage of projects that we're seeing. So super exciting. I've been able to be a part of this journey for many years now, and I look forward to what it's going to mean for years to come. And with that, I'll pass it over to Brandon.
Great, thanks, Trey. And the good news is that the real estate team is here to support all of you with these capital projects. We have deep industry experience across every sub-team that will engage at various stages of projects, beginning with property search and lease support, then through design, construction, and site opening. Larger projects benefit from support of different additional teams during that site opening process, including marketing, technology, procurement, HR, and talent acquisition. And the new site openings team, or NSO, helps coordinate all of those different groups. And then, of course, once the sites are open, the facilities and safety teams will provide ongoing support to all of them. I think it's also important to call out that the real estate team can support smaller projects as well, and they can help you find the right approach depending on what your needs are. So that could be minor repairs that can be requested through the Cushman Wakefield FAMIS 360 platform. We've got a revamped small works process to help with those projects. And then, of course, there's the major projects like the ones that just got highlighted by Trey. And the real estate team can help through all of those. So a lot of exciting stuff to come for sure for the network. And with that, I'd like to pass it over to Shane Prop-Wilson for an update on Ceridian.
All right, thank you very much, Brandon, and good morning to everybody. So I wanted to provide a very quick update on the Ceridian Dayforce launch, and I think at this point most have heard about this, but our Ceridian Dayforce launch that we had originally scheduled for December of 2023, we've made the decision to postpone this launch, which was Legacy NVA Compassion First and Legacy Ethos Hospitals, to May 2024. So I wanted to just take a couple of minutes to bring everybody through the details, the why, and a bit about next steps. So a bit about the why. First, why March? Payroll and HR systems, you have 4 shots at deploying these over the course of the year, and it's at the end of every quarter. So hence the shift from December to March. That's our next window to deploy this tool. Why did we make this call? This was a tough decision made in partnership with Trey and the rest of Ethos operations, technology. But as you can probably imagine, an HR and payroll tool, information accuracy, testing results, there's an extremely high bar for the information that is in the system and the configuration and accuracy of a system like this. We don't want inaccurate payroll. We don't want inaccurate employee roles. And so as we went through the testing process and started the training process, we really made a global decision that testing results weren't quite where we wanted them to be, and we weren't, from a training perspective, as ready as we wanted to be. Now, that being said, our bar is extremely high, and we were close. So what I'll stress is that all of the work that has gone into this, that we are wildly appreciative of, has not gone to waste. I mean, we have made a ton of progress, and we're very confident that we'll be able to cross the finish line here soon. As far as training goes, because I know that this is something that everybody is engaging in right now, we have, over the last couple of weeks, a lot of fantastic feedback about how you want to see training, what types of assets you want available for your teams to consume when they want to. So we're going to close the training suite for about a month, so that to give us a bit of time to produce some of the content that was requested over the past couple of weeks, and plan to relaunch the training in January in preparation for the March deployment. One thing I did want to stress here, and like I said, wildly appreciative of all of the involvement and effort from the sites on testing and training. But one thing to stress here is that in the implementation of a tool like this, 100% site leader engagement is absolutely critical. It's a must-have for a successful deployment. We need to gather necessary information from every site on payrolls and employee counts and transactions. So we really, really appreciate, and we'll be out with next steps to all of the site leaders that are set to go in March 2024, as far as what we need to get to a successful launch at the end of Q1. And then just to finish up on the next page, I won't drain all of this, but on the left-hand side, a lot of what you're doing, site leaders, is some manual information tracking in preparation for the launch here. You can suspend all of those activities for the time being. We'll need to start those again when we get towards March. So dual entry, PTO sick balances, any deduction forms, you can discontinue that activity, and we'll pick that up later. I did mention that training is going to redeploy in January. They Change 360, which is our Change community Q&A forum, that will stay active through this period of time. So if you haven't registered for Change 360 and you're curious about what it is, you can find that on GoFetch on the Dayforce deployment page. And then lastly, touch clocks. If you did install touch clocks on your walls, You don't have to register biometrics or your badges at this time. We'll do that closer to deployment. Lastly, we do remain 100% dedicated to the Ceridian Dayforce deployment. Donna mentioned earlier, and team, this is a huge source of information, utility for the sites. It's a best-in-class, HR scheduling, time and attendance, and payroll tool, and we're really excited to get this out into the field. So huge thank you for the effort to date, and we'll have more as we start to replan the deployment. And with that, I am passing it over to Dr. Burdick. Stacy, take it away.
Thank you, Shane. Hi, everybody. I have the honor of introducing our new Director of Nursing. This role is extremely important to us as we go forward in revolutionizing veterinary medicine. This role is one that not many of the competition out there have as of yet. So it's a relatively new type of role, having nursing representation at the medical leadership level. So I am incredibly excited for this role and know that we found the absolute right person to take us into the future, and am going to introduce her now. Please meet Christina Giovanelli.
Thank you, Stacy. So today I'll spend a few minutes sharing a little about myself, and then we'll talk about my role and touch on a few of our plans for nursing. So my stats, I have 2 kids, my daughter Marie, who is 11 years old, and my son Regan, who is 9. My husband's name is Pete, and we have 6 fur kids, the most recent addition being a jumping spider. I am a Jersey girl, and I tend to talk like I drive, which is very fast. I live on coffee, and I love anything Disney and crafting. Professionally, I've been in vet med for over 20 years. I have my bachelor's in communications, my associate's in veterinary technology, and as long as I keep my grades up, I will earn my MBA this year. I'm a certified veterinary technician and a veterinary technician specialist in small animal internal medicine. I worked at Red Bank Veterinary Hospital in New Jersey for 17 years, starting out as an internal medicine nurse and growing there, holding positions of supervisor, clinical manager, and practice manager. For many years, I was also an instructor for an approved veterinary assistant program. The last few years, I worked as a regional nursing director for Veterinary Emergency Group and was able to help build the nursing operations structure for that company. I am super passionate about serving and supporting the veterinary nursing profession. So since 2008, I've been on the credentialing committee for the New Jersey State Tech Association, helping to credential all of the CVTs in New Jersey. And I'm also currently the NAVTA New Jersey State Rep. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about the Director of Nursing role and introduce you to some of the plans we have for nursing. So why create a Director of Nursing role? Well, at Ethos, we want to revolutionize the veterinary profession. And that means giving veterinary nursing a seat at the table to find innovative solutions to the struggles that we experience in our profession. We want to support, represent, and elevate Ethos veterinary nursing. And we want to do this in ways that will impact nursing team members at the individual level, all the way up to the veterinary nursing community as a whole. We want departments like L&D, operations, talent, marketing, community, and more to have a nursing representative to partner with to ensure that the initiatives, programs, and resources we create support the needs of nursing with where we are now, but also where we want to be in the future. And finally, and most importantly, we want the nursing goals and resources to be for us, by us, meaning the ideas come from the front lines, from our nursing teams on the floor in the hospitals. And then we'll work together as a community to bring those ideas to life. So we talked about our why, our inspiration. Well, what are the things we need to do to achieve that? So here I've listed some themes I've been hearing in my first few weeks, and you've already heard some of this throughout our meeting today. In respect to time, I won't be able to get into too much detail, but we will keep you updated as we build this out more. So first, we need clear career pathing. Some of the ways we'll achieve this is through training and development programs, thanks to the support of amazing teams like the clinical L&D department. And we want to make sure that learned nursing skills are fully utilized at every level of experience. We want to provide the very best medicine, industry-leading and evidence-based. We want our nursing teams to know that they're providing the very best patient care possible because they have the tools and resources to do so. And then we have community. We have over 150 specialty and emergency hospitals with incredible veterinary nurses, assistants, trainers, managers, presenters, mentors, you name it. I am incredibly excited to see what we can do together as we build ways to connect and collaborate with one another. And finally, our nursing community will allow us to keep a pulse on the health of our profession and each other. So now I'm sure there are many people listening that are thinking, Chrissy, I could think of at least 20 more things to put on that what section. And you'd absolutely be right. There's so much more to be done. And that brings me to the how. The list of nursing goals is incomplete right now, and that's because we still need to hear from a lot more hospitals and nursing team members to ensure that what goes on this list is relevant and impactful. So in my role, I'm going to be doing a lot of visits and a lot of listening and learning from all of you that are on our front lines. We also plan to utilize members of our nursing community to collaborate and help create resources. We'll also use pilots to try out these programs and measure their impact. And we'll work to build resources in a framework model that allows for flexibility to meet each hospital's unique needs. So I hope in these few minutes, I've gotten many of you excited, and you can go to the next slide, I think has my contact in. Thank you. So I hope in these few minutes, I've gotten many of you excited about the things we talked about today. I'm sure some of you are bubbling with ideas, and that's fantastic. I want to hear them. This slide has my contact information. Please feel free to reach out to me if you want to share ideas, brainstorm, or even just meet each other. I'm so excited to get to meet many more of you and create something exceptional together. Thank you. And now I'll turn it over to Melanie.
Good morning, everyone. Thanks so much, Chrissy. So excited to work with you. I wanted to share an update on our newly relaunched referral program, and you can go to the next slide. Perfect. As Ryan shared in our last newsletter, we excitedly relaunched our Synergized Ethos referral bonus program in October. We felt it was critical to prioritize the creation of this refreshed program, just given the importance and success of referrals to the organization. We also recognize that many of you help socialize Ethos with your networks, and we wanted to make sure that we were recognizing you, our team members, who formally and informally share the Ethos story and ultimately drive referrals to the organization. So the program now has a $10,000 bonus for full-time doctors, a $5,000 bonus for part-time doctors, and we've added a $2,500 bonus for credentialed technicians, recognizing the importance of technicians and or nurses to the organization. We have also made the decision to mandate the program across the organization, which will allow us to increase the penetration of the program, but also allow us to make sure that we are leveraging the broader tools across the organization as well. Next slide, please. So we recognize that seeking referrals is not always innate to our employees. So we want to help by giving you tools, resources, and ultimately support from your talent acquisition team. So we have created materials that can be located on GoFetch or by reaching out to myself or a member of the TA team. You can share these in a town hall style session with your teams. We encourage you to hang them in your break rooms or in your restrooms. And you can even share the link on your individual social media pages if you would like to. For an additional push, you can also work with your TA partner on an individualized contest or campaign for your hospital. We have a couple of them in flight right now where we're giving away a cool Ethos swag item to individuals that share that information with their social media and or professional contacts. And then in 2024, we're planning some additional fun contests to both increase traction for this program, but also to recognize the individuals that do refer to the organization. And a fun fact, since we relaunched the program in late October, we have seen an increase of almost 50% in referrals. We've already hired 4 DVMs, and 6 additional DVMs are in the interview and/or LOI stage. And I just wanted to give a special kudos to Sherry Davis from the Ethos Urgent Care in Nashua for her referral submissions year to date. I tried to track them back with Legacy Ethos and with New Ethos, and I think the number is creeping up on 20 at this point. So thank you very much to Sherry for her hard work. And I will turn it back over to Ryan.
All right, thanks, Melanie. Well, that's super impressive. 20 recommendations of colleagues to our hospitals. So wonderful. Looking forward to seeing those numbers grow as the months go on. So this is our last topic before we get to the Q&A. I just want to briefly go over some of the results from a couple of the surveys that we sent out recently. And so if you can go to the next slide. So the chart on the left shows the results from the support center survey, and this was done shortly after the announcement of the new organizational design. And then the chart on the right shows the support center survey for HDs, MDs, and field ops and their sentiment towards the support center functions. So two different surveys, different audiences. And so starting with the chart on the left, really proud that the top response about our next level transformation and our reorganization was excited. The results here were actually higher than what we saw for both the GP, general practice business, and the holding company, which is the folks in the organization that serve all the businesses. And also great to see words like engaged and confident there in the top 5, but certainly there's still work to do on some of the other higher scored adjectives such as anxious and concerned. Certainly understandable that those feelings would be there with such a major change and announcement that we made, first to split the businesses and then ultimately to announce the structure for the organization. And so on the right, we have comparison of the 2022 and 2023 support center survey results, and as expected, results are slightly lower. And why was that expected? So this was given right after the announcement. So just with the timing, we would have expected to see some more uncertainty, some disruption, as we kind of talked about. I think that the teams, both in the traditional, what you think of the support center, as well as the field ops teams, which are part of the support center, also kind of working closely with the hospitals, as you know, their response throughout the change, I think, has been phenomenal. And I think that while there's still quite a bit of work to do, I think we've covered quite a bit of ground so far, and just want to thank all of those members of those teams. So if you can go to the next page. For the NLT survey, we dissected it by department, and the Ethos leadership team members have had several conversations with their teams to help clarify the split, answer questions in smaller team settings, and we're also going to have a follow-up survey in February. It's really important for us to track sentiment over time, and hopefully we show improvement in some of those anxious, nervous, some of those types of adjectives get lower. We will see, and we'll continue to work on it. And then on the right, the support center survey, these results are pretty hot off the presses. Still currently going through all the comments and scores, tons of comments. Thank you for your comments. I've read about 75% of the comments, still kind of working through some of those, but they were excellent. We're going to be looking at those with our teams and then developing action plans, diving deeper into it in our next town hall. So really just want to thank everyone for the amount of time that you put into it. A lot of thought into the comments. I realize these surveys are not easy, and sometimes you feel like you're getting surveyed to death. But just want to reassure you, we look at this data. It means a lot. We want to continue to talk about it. Our promise to you is that we're going to be making changes and doubling down on the stuff that we are doing really well on, and appreciate you giving kudos to team members and departments, but then also addressing the areas that you said we could potentially improve upon. So more to come in the next town hall. So with that, I'll turn it over to our head of internal communications, Christy Adelsey. And she's gonna walk us through some Q&A. I think the way we're gonna do it today is we did get a number of questions submitted ahead of time, but also want to open up for live questions. So we're gonna kind of go one for one there. So have your live questions queued up in the Q&A, and then we'll get as many of those answered as we can in the next 10 minutes. So Christy.
Great. Yeah. And so for any unanswered questions today, we'll be sending those out fully answered with our follow-up materials today. So the first question, Ryan, is, will there be an increase in the 401k match to more closely meet the industry standard?
Yeah, so we did make some changes to the 401k next year. So all the hospitals will be on the 3% match. And so we're excited about that. And that's to make everything consistent with the legacy NBA Compassion First approach. In terms of all the support center, that's going to be a part of our roadmap, our benefits roadmap that we're developing in the coming months. As you know, I introduced Shannon, our head of HR, who's going to really lead those efforts. And so we're going to be looking closely at that. I don't have a specific answer for you now, but all of benefits, 401k and beyond are on the table, and it's something that we want to address in the future. And so we'll have some more details about that roadmap when it's available.
Great. Will we be receiving a holiday bonus?
So it's really dependent on individual hospitals. I realize that every hospital has a specific policy on it, and so we're not going to be dictating how that's handled within the hospitals. I know that hospital leaders are going to be working with field leaders, and in terms of setting the budget and making sure that we're spending funds appropriately. But I would say there's nothing sort of network wide from a bonus perspective.
Okay. What metrics are being evaluated to detect when price increases may adversely impact client demand to the point that the increase causes more harm than good?
Okay, so we're going to turn that over to Tyler Stroop, who's been working with his business operations team to come up with some pretty nice tools to address that. So Tyler, do you want to take that?
Yeah, sure. Thanks, Ryan. So first, we know that price increases remain a central topic for our hospital teams and clients as we balance the need for keeping pace with the costs of operating a healthy hospital with wanting to ensure that we're providing our communities with access to care and hopefully some of the resources that have been made available to you in this planning process for the January 1st increase, such as industry inflation data, local competitive pricing, and so forth, have been helpful. In response to the question directly, we are in development of a number of ways to measure the impact. I'll go through a handful of these, and we'll be following up shortly with how to access that information. One is truly sort of the definition from the question, which is price elasticity. So that's really looking from a data perspective at the relationship between the change in the price of a service or product with the change in the volume or quantity of that service or product following the increase. So that's something that we'll be taking a close look at following the January increase, to be able to understand that relationship and be able to have conversations with hospitals around what we're seeing and how to interpret that information. There's some other information that is less directly tied to price volume per se, but we think is important to include in the overall sort of assessment of how things are going. One is really leveraging the sort of client survey and online reputation results. So our marketing team can partner with you, and we're also looking at how to aggregate the questions and open comments that we think sort of directly or indirectly refer to price or a proxy for how clients are perceiving price within the client experience and online reputation tools. And there's actually some tools within that that allow you to search for those specific words or terms that we think will help us identify where price is being referenced within the experience. There's also some other pieces that we're looking at developing and more to come in terms of, again, how to share that with you in the realm of price sensitivity or a client's willingness to pay. And one of those is we've partnered with our SAB representatives they've helped us identify what are some key procedures or service codes by specialty that we think are indicative of, or if we were to start seeing changes in volume or demand, are indicative of a client's willingness to pay, or potentially where there's some price sensitivity. So that's something that we're developing now, the ability to really track that closely. Another one is tracking the declination rate of treatment plan or estimate recommendations within your practices, or the acceptance of a treatment plan that is, sort of a lower acuity than what was recommended. We're working sort of on a two-pronged, sort of a short-term, how do we track this manually? There's not a simple and clearly defined systematic way to track that within the PIMS. And then long-term, trying to figure out what are the ways that we can sort of automate that more into the practice management software so that we can track that more closely and at scale. And then the last one is really keeping an eye on euthanasia rates and seeing if there are trends and upticks in the rate in which our clients are asking us to euthanize their pets. Again, as a proxy for where we're seeing some sensitivity around price, or simply just indications of some broader macroeconomic issues that we may want to consider as we think about how to appropriately price within our practices. So, we recognize that the tools and resources we develop will be a constant evolution, and definitely want to hear from you. So hopefully that's a good preview of some things to come here shortly in the new year, but please reach out to your field EPS team, or feel free to reach out to me directly if you have more thoughts on what else could be useful here.
Yeah, thanks, Tyler. And I know a lot of questions about price increases, and appreciate all the time that hospital directors, medical directors have spent, talking with the field operations team, as well as the medical operations team, and kind of understanding the why behind price increases, and also the messaging, and making sure that teams are prepared. I think that the tools that Tyler just mentioned are critical. Really hats off to the team and taking a more analytical approach. I know that we all hear stories, doctors or team members coming out of exam rooms and having challenging conversations with clients, and wondering, how often it's happening. This is the tools that were developed are going to really help us do a more analytical approach, which I think is going to really be helpful. So appreciate all the work that's gone in there. Back to you, Christy.
Great. What is the review process for our support center team members? Can somebody go into a little more detail about that?
Okay, with this, I think Sarah Duffy is on the call. I'm gonna try to cold call her here. I know she has been working on this process behind the scene and knows infinitely more than I do about it. And so, Sarah, do you mind coming off mute and help us?
She can't as an audience member.
Oh.
She's unable to come up. Yeah, so she said she would put it in the chat.
Okay, all right. She'll put it in the chat. I mean, so I see the question. Sorry that it sounds like it's a bit confusing. The purpose here is to really use the online platform to really help facilitate and make things a bit easier. But sometimes with the technology, there's some glitches, and so if we need to double down on the instruction, I'm happy to do it. And so we'll look for that, some more specific answers from Sarah in the chat.
Hey, I can provide a highlight here because I have been working with Sarah on this, and then she can get much deeper detail here. So right now we're currently going to be doing it all within the Talent Unleashed platform. So there's going to be multiple steps. So the first one that's ongoing right now is the self-assessment step that will be happening this month for our support center people and field operations people. They'll go in there and be able to fill out the stuff. That will lead into next month, when you'll have the supervisor portion of it, where they're going to be able to provide their comment and their feedback within it, with an ultimate in February, and then with the things trailing that with regards to items such as merit increases and stuff like that. So that's the basic framework of it. What I would say is, if you haven't received an email with regards to filling in your self-assessment, then you can let Sarah Duffy know, but that'll be the process over the next couple months.
Okay, excellent. Thanks, Trey. Why don't we try to squeeze in one more, Christy, if we can, be real quick with it, because I realize we only have 1 more minute left. And is there another?
Sure. Sure. Do we have the schedule for 2024 paid holidays?
So they are released. They're going to be posted up on GoFetch very, very soon. We're going to have the legacy organizations holidays as well, and then the hospitals are going to continue to follow, you know, whatever holidays you have followed in the past. But bottom line is it's going to be up on GoFetch soon. I would say in the next couple of days.
Right. Again, we'll provide responses to all of these questions. Thank you all.
Yeah, thanks everyone. Really appreciate your time today. Thanks to all the presenters. Awesome work that's going on here. And I know this is a challenging time for the hospitals as folks are taking time off, and just want to say thank you, especially to the 24-hour facilities, those that are going to be working on the holidays. Really appreciate all that you do. You know, with the GPs closed, you guys serve such an important role to all the communities that you serve. So just want to thank you, and hopefully everyone has a wonderful holiday, friends and family, a happy new year, and looking forward to getting back together in the new year. So take care. Enjoy the rest of your day.